Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. It's another week, another Tuesday, another movie day. This week I saw two movies. I know the last couple weeks I've been seeing three, but there was only two out right now that I would consider paying for. And actually everything else that's playing in the theater right now I've already seen and reviewed. So yeah, we're down to two. Hopefully you guys can see me okay. Last time I parked in this spot, from the video footage that I had, it was nice and brightly lit without the light being on the camera. So I'm parked here again. It is a little bit later in the afternoon, so it is a little bit more shady, but hopefully you guys can still see me good. If you can, hopefully I'll just start parking right here for the rest of these reviews, and then I won't have to turn the light on and drain the battery so quick. But anyway, so first movie I saw today was The Purge 2, I guess, Purge, Anarchy. It was okay, but not as good as the first one. Again, directed by Michael Bay, and again he falls into this thing of, let's try and tell 6 different people's stories in a 2-hour movie, and either we'll spend way too much time explaining everything and trying to piece it all together to where it has to become a 3-hour movie, or we just won't explain shit about anybody and we'll cram all these people's stories into an hour and a half. Yeah, he basically, much as I hate to say it, this was actually the better way of telling 6 people's stories than the 6 convoluted stories that he had in Transformers 4. But he didn't really tell us anything about these people. He sort of hinted to what was going on in their lives, but never resolved anything, if that makes sense. So yeah. So we start out with introducing all the characters. There's this guy and this girl who I guess are married. We later find out midway through the movie, somewhere right before the Purge starts, that they're separating, but they're still trying to remain friends or whatever, or still giving the illusion that they're together. This other girl and her daughter, who don't really have much of a story other than they're kind of poor. The mother has a father living with her who she asks her boss for a raise because she's trying to get money for his medicine, because she doesn't make enough to pay the bills and pay for his medical needs. Of course, the boss turns her down. There's this side story with her friend who's also a waitress at the place that she works at. But that's later on in the story. Then there's our main hero of the movie, I guess you could say. I don't know any of their names, surprisingly. Yeah. So he's, I guess, an ex-cop, because they refer to him as Sergeant at one point. So he's either ex-cop or ex-military. Definitely has some form of training. He's divorced, and his wife comes to see him at one point and tells him that he doesn't need to go out and purge, just let it go. And he says, yeah, well, why don't you let it go and go back to your new husband and your new family. So that's kind of where that ends. And then he goes out. You later find out that his son was killed by a drunk driver. Drunk driver got off technicality, so he's going to go purge and kill the guy who killed his kid, because he's got a wife and kids and he's living happily ever after, and his son's dead. So that's where he's going through the whole movie. By the way, spoilers, you don't find that out till almost the very end. As he's going out to take part in his purge, he sees the mother and daughter being attacked, which there's another side story with that as well, which just dips back to the rich folks from the first one spending money to purge. So he doesn't want to get involved, but at the same time he decides, I'll help him. Then while he's helping them, the other two that are separated end up out on the street because they were selected as targets by this other group. So as they're running through the streets trying to get somewhere safe, they dive into his car. So now the 5 of them are together. They're trying to reach the mother and daughter's friend's house so that they can be safe for the night. They get there. He thinks that, once they get there, he'll be able to take the friend's car to go do his purge because his car breaks down. So they manage to get there, and more shit happens there. So they're back out on the street. They get picked up by this other group, and turns out they're taken to this auction thing, which is shown in the preview. So again, not really spoiling much, where rich people can bid to kind of trap these guys in like this little courtyard thing and hunt them down, which it isn't really a fair hunt because the victims don't have any weapons or any means of defense other than hiding in the dark, and the rich people have all the guns and night vision. So yeah, it's kind of like, easy hunting. There's this other side story with this resistance group that isn't happy with the purge and doesn't think it does anything, so they're gonna go out and purge the purgers. And they actually violate the laws because you're not supposed to use anything above like a class 4 explosive, and obviously they do. So yeah, there are laws in place during the purge. So then they finally get away from all that. He has like an hour, half hour or so left of the purge, so he gets in a car. The mother and daughter go with him, and he's gonna go do his purge before time runs out. And they try and stop him. He says, just stay here, you'll be safe. I'm gonna go do this whether you like it or not. So he goes in the house and confronts the guy, and then you hear a scream and you see him come out of the house, and he looks really relieved, like he's happy and everything. Then these other people from another side storyline catch up with him at one point, and then the guy is about to kill the hero, and a gunshot rings out. So you figure, okay, it's either the mother or daughter came out just in time to save him, and then it pans up, and no, it's, spoiler, the guy that he was there to kill. So obviously he didn't kill the guy, but then they get him to the hospital because the purge is over now, so even though he's been shot, he's still alive, so they take him to the hospital, and then that's just where the movie ends. They don't explain why he didn't kill the guy, what was his change of heart. Was he never going to kill the guy? Was he just there to scare him and be like, I could purge you, but I'm better than that? Or, it doesn't explain anything, and the movie's over. So yeah, it was less convoluted than Transformers 4, but at the same time, there was just no resolve to any of the characters. It was kind of like the first one, except from the victim standpoint, as opposed to the rich family that's just trying to stay indoors and stay out of it and gets drawn into it. I think they're getting ready to make a third one already, so that one's probably going to be more from the Purgers standpoint, maybe? I don't know, because it looks like they're doing like each side of this. Yeah, overall, not as good as the first one, but not bad, just there's no resolve to anything. So, yeah, as far as a star rating goes, Jesus, 3, maybe? Yeah, it's middle of the road. Like, it didn't really bore me so much, but it just, with no resolve, it was more or less just a middle of the road average movie. There wasn't really anything to make it stand out from anything else. So yeah, we'll go with the 3, middle of the road. Yeah, so that's it for this episode. I've just kind of rambled about this movie for a few minutes, and yeah. So now I'm going to go back and watch Planes 2, if you can call it Planes 2, Planes, Fire, and Rescue. Because that's the only other thing playing right now that I haven't seen. And since I saw the first one, why not, right? So anyway, I'll be back shortly with that review, and until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.